We got final UFC Fight Night 153, one more in this series of UFC and ESPN Plus, which finally returns to Stockholm, Sweden, after a few years. Now I kinda can say that we have a festival of Swedish fighters, and which fights would I pick? Well, from the preliminary card, I think the match between Tony Evinger and Lina Länsberg sounds pretty much fun for the entertainment, and let's get now look into Tony Evinger, a former Invicta FC bantamweight champ. You probably remember her fights versus Jana Kunitskaya. There's no need to explain. You know what happened, that kinda illegal armbar, which was later overturned and Tonya won. But Tony Evinger is currently at 2-fight losing skid to Chris Cyborg, UFC 214 I think, and Aspen Ladd, UFC 229 if I remember well. On the other side we got Lina Länsberg, who is a former Muay Thai world champion and Muay Thai European champion, very dangerous striker. Very good puncher with solid elbows, solid kicks, solid low kick, but she's on a 2-3, had ups and downs. You know that she won the Czech prospect Lucia Pudilova, but on the other side she was losing to Cyborg, she was losing to Ladd, she also lost the bout to Jana Kunitskaya, the dangerous Russian, which I kinda say, she's a former SC women's bantamweight champ, earned the title a lot earlier, so who would I pick? If we're gonna look at the shape, both fighters are on a terrible shape, on a losing skid, and one needs to go up. I kinda don't know, I would give advantage to Lina Länsberg due to the support of a home crowd, because she is Swede, but Tony Evinger is dangerous, never know. Alright, now let's focus to the main card. Well, the bout that kicks it off, it's not much interesting. It's David Teymur against Sung Bing Jo. We also got Damir Hadžović, who is known as the Bosnian bomber with both Bosnian and Danish citizenship. Also Helmako Amerikani, the best Finnish competitor. But I want to focus on clicks, right? And this is Jimmy Manova against Alexander Rakic, who is the best Austrian competitor. You know his origins, right? There's no need to explain. Jimmy Manova was a former UFC MMA, a light heavyweight champ, if I remember well, on multiple occasions. But Jimmy Manova is a finisher on a 3-fight, if I remember, on a 3-fight losing skid. And you know that Blachowicz and Santos ended him up pretty much easily. He was dominated in that bout. On the other side, Alexander Rakic is on an 11-win fighting streak with 3-0 in UFC, with victories over Barroso, Ledej, and Devon Clark, who squares off against the best Serbian competitor Darko Stosic in the same event. And now, who is there? Well, if you're gonna take a look at the skid, Jimmy Manova is a better ground guy, Jimmy Manova is a better stand-up guy, but Alexander Rakic is kinda all-rounder. He knows to fight on the ground and so on, but he knows to fight in the stand-up. If the match goes to the ground, I'd give advantage to Rakic, but if it's a stand-up, I think Manova is a better striker, so I kinda have a feeling that Rakic's win in skid won't be stopped at this competition. I kinda think he's gonna win this bout, despite I don't underestimate Jimmy Manova, as he is one of the best Brits who ever competed in the UFC. Now there's the return of the best Swiss competitor who has ever been in the world of UFC, Volkan Oezdemir, who scores off against also Swede Ilir Latifi. Volkan Oezdemir, you know that he is a former WKN Valhalla Battle of Vikings champ who was running on pretty much world-class win streak before he got the chance to square off against Daniel Cormier at UFC 220, but after he was stopped by a dangerous American wrestler, well, he kinda went to losing skid, and in the next bout, you know that he was finished by Anthony Smith, who fights in the main event of the evening, and kinda stolen against Dominic Reyes, kinda robbed. That's just my thoughts. Ilir Latifi, a former submission grappling champ in 2003. Great wrestler. but also an amazing striker. He knows to finish his rivals, riding on a 2-1 with victories over Tyson Pedro or Vincent Prue, the best Haitian, but with the loss to Corey Anderson at UFC 232. While Ilir Latifi fights in front of the home crowd, Volkan Oezdemir is looking to stay out of that damn losing skid, which is making big problems to his career, and maybe his UFC contract is at stake now. The other side, Latifi, I don't know, he has the advantage of the home court, he has the advantage of the support of the home crowd. He's basically good in front of the home crowd. I kinda think he's in better shape, so we're gonna see, but if Volkan Oezdemir can maintain the same pace like he did against his former rival, Dominic Reyes, I think he's gonna win, but I kinda think Ilir Latifi has a slight advantage. Now we got the best Swedish competitor of all time, Alexander Gustafsson. Okay, Jack Hermansson is endangering him, got to say, but Gus, he fought for the title 2 times for UFC title and once for the vacant title, 2 times stopped by Jon Jones, once by Daniel Cormier, a former, a former guy who really showed a fantastic results in the world of wrestling, boxing, a man who nearly outstriked John Bones Jones, a really dangerous fighter, but his fights, the most was one, you know, his wins over Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira, but in the last bout he was stopped by Jon Jones. Okay, it was illegal kicks and so on. The other side, his opponent Anthony Smith, he was also stopped by Jon Jones at UFC 235. You know everything that happened, the former CFCC and WEFC middleweight champ who made a successful transition and fought for a light heavyweight title once, but maybe this is not his division, who knows. But on the other side, he had pretty much great finishes, you know, that he elbowed Mauricio Shogun Rua to sleep, he finished Rashad Evans, he finished Volkan Oezdemir. He is a good finisher. On the other side, Alexander Gustafsson is not an easy guy to finish. If the fight goes to the ground, yes, Anthony Smith has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but he has never been a guy who pays too much attention on his ground skills, so if the fight goes to the ground, after all, Alexander Gustafsson is the only man, probably, and the first man who took John Bones Jones down. I think he's better on the ground. Smith, I'd give him advantage in the stand-up, though Gustafsson, he has great stand-up skills and he is a bit longer. I don't know, I think Gustafsson will not have a hard time recovering, but if he wins it will be a decision win, because this guy, Anthony Smith, he can receive bashing, he can eat bashes, I mean, he can eat a lot of strikes, he's so damn endurable. Gustafsson is also endurable. I highly doubt there will be a KO in this bout, but I think if it goes to stamina, it's Gustafsson. But if Anthony Smith starts to attack him against the cage, well, this is his advantage, right? So, slight advantage to Gus.